G'day, I'm Ben from Catch Pro Australia. We're on the set of Lawn Care Skull Sessions today with my co-host, the Bearded Lawnsman.
What up, Benny? What's happening?
Don't know. It's
It's a bit weird today.
it's like nothing's happening, but then some things are happening.
Yeah.
You know, the industry is pretty flat as a whole.
I thought it would have been popping. It's popping for me. Skag are releasing a bunch of stuff this year. They've actually purchased Bluebird as well, so that's a big buy up for Metalcraft.
GIE time is
Yeah.
always really exciting.
I'm excited to see. I saw something from Hustler. I haven't seen it a lot though. I guess it's early days and maybe they're partying, but yeah, I'd like to see some more come out of GIE. Or Equip Expo.
I saw. I was pretty excited to see new brand Yakta. They're sort of making their debut.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
A couple of Aussie lads.
I just personally, like, I'm not as, like, I used to get real stoked around the GIE time.
Yeah.
Seeing new stuff and bits and pieces. But
You just want to know if the catch roll fit straight on the deck.
well, I mean, look.
Wait, fuck it, whatever. That's what it is, man. We hope for rain. You hope for decks that fucking easy fit ups.
But I don't know why. Like, I'm just not as excited as what I used to get.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me evolving.
Yeah.
As
You got other things to worry about.
Yeah, and I don't even know what those things are.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm sort of just...
Has anyone reached out from the US to you? Like Corey has said anything to you, or fucking...
Corey's not there this year.
Not there at all.
No.
See, that's the thing. Like, he's got better things to do.
Yeah.
He's fucking... Where is he? The Bahamas?
I just assume
fucking...
he's... Yeah, no, look, he's really into his racing with his kid.
Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't want to demean it by saying go-karts, but I think that's what they are.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've seen a few posts, and I think they're like funny cars. I don't know if they're go-cars.
They're fucking, like, proper. I know that.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But anyway, maybe it was just too conflicting with...
Yeah.
Well, I did see something from an influencer saying that the GIE just felt, down from last year as a whole.
Really?
Like, some booths had, drinks and food and, all these things, and there was nothing like that.
No way.
There was not as many people.
Last year was fucking incredible. Like, it really was awesome. Like, I've never been, so, I've got nothing to compare it to.
I think last year was a big year.
Because it was like the comeback, the COVID comeback. So,
I agree.
Yeah, I think they went hard out, and yeah, lots of brands did have drinks and food, and they were handing out lots of merch, and
Yeah, so apparently that there's some hats and stuff, but some of the big giveaways. I know our mate Kenny from Stripe Life is giving away a truck.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
so
fucking hell, that's a good prize to win.
That's a great prize. Yeah, so there are exceptions.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. I didn't see anyone giving away a truck last year, but that would have been a bit hard to.
Apparently, so they give away a truck, and then Hustler. That's with Hustler.
Yep.
And then there's about another $50,000 worth of overall prizes.
Sweet.
So there are exceptions.
Nice. Very cool.
I think maybe the way I feel about it now is that with new stuff that's coming out, it still just takes so long to get here.
Yeah.
Like, I saw Ego has a ride-on tractor.
No way. I didn't see that.
Ryobi has a 30-inch self-propelled.
Yeah. See, I think they get a different lineup to us, even in the hand tools. I think they have a HD, like a heavy-duty setup over there. So,
and I think that's what bums me out a little bit is, like, you can see this shit in real time.
Yeah.
Like, they're there.
Yeah.
They post it. You can see it.
Like, they've got it. They know where to fucking send it. But they're just not gonna.
But, like, it's not necessarily going to come here. So, and like I said, I think over here, the industry just feels kind of flat. Contractors are shitting themselves. mower shops are shitting themselves.
Yeah. Look,
Don't get me wrong. There are so many businesses still thriving.
yeah.
There is really so many. But it's not like this time last year where you'd open up your Facebook and boom, cash cannon. Boom, cash cannon.
It's a whole new ball game. But last night I was actually watching a report on sort of business downturn and foreclosures. I think it was bouncing off that like Sarah Lee. They're in administrative, whatever it is when they fold. So yeah, it's something like 43% up on last year business closures, and they reckon by next year it'll go as high as 60%. So that's pretty. Look, I don't know.
I'm not always sure that everyone can.
And that's a broad spectrum. Like, anyone can start a business and fold a business within fucking 2 weeks.
So that's what I mean. Yeah. So I'm a little bit.
They'd just be going off ABNs.
I'm a little bit concerned about some of those statistics, because during COVID there was heaps of extra startups.
Yeah.
That maybe they don't need. Maybe they got their fucking jobs back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, think of how many little businesses popped up making custom masks and shit like that. That's all right. Would have just gone.
That's right, and really the list goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to defend something that's not true. Well, I don't know. Well, I think I might have messed up what I said then, but I don't want to defend, the small business industry.
Yeah.
If it is actually failing.
Yeah, no. Well,
but
I think...
But I feel like some of these numbers are a little bit cooked.
Well, that's it. Like, how do they tell? Like, they'd be going off ABNs that are cancelled, and who the fuck really, like, when they pull their business down, who cancels their ABN? I think maybe more companies.
If you don't, you still have to do your pay as you go, so...
Yeah, but if there's zero going in, zero going out.
No,
do you still have to do it? Oh, because when you turn...
I had to do it. I had to pay 10 grand.
Motherfuckers.
For not closing Greenscape Solutions.
No way.
Because it's forecast off your previous years.
Fuck. True.
Don't worry. Don't get me wrong. There's a way to get...
Yeah.
You can get out of it.
Yep.
For some reason, I fucking couldn't. And I just paid it, closed it, make sure I did things the right way in the end.
Dude, fucking hell. That's a bit sad, but,
Because
that's all in the past.
Because pay as you go...
Yeah.
Is you have to pay every bill on time and in full.
Yeah.
And if you have payment plans,
yeah,
then they become void.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't get a new payment plan until your previous balance is wiped.
Yeah. So, So anyway,
that's it. That's how we. That's back in the day.
How do we get into that?
Look, let's go back in time. Last week, I talked about my vasectomy, and the minute we fucking turned off the podcast mid-goo and I switched my phone off airplane mode, I got the text come through and I fucking gave you a high five. You didn't know what it was for, but all clear. They're all fucking sleeping.
Cream pies all round.
Sleeping with the fishes. Now, I've asked my wife permission to tell this story, and
oh boy,
I haven't told you about it yet, I can't remember.
We have not talked about this.
No, okay. So, obviously I was excited. We fucked off to the city for the night. We did all my mum's passport stuff, so my mum was good enough to shout us a night away, and she came and babysat, so that was awesome, and it was on the cards anyway, but it just worked out perfectly. So we went to the city and, had a bunch of drinks and we were had a bit of fun, and the whole thing was, it was around dessert time and we'd ordered cold rock. So I thought we'd be, sweet, knocked one out and look at the Uber, and he'd already been there for 4 minutes. So I was like, holy fuck. So I jumped out of bed, chucked on some clothes, and I opened the door, and there was a chick who was bringing us an ice bucket with her fucking ear up against the door. She had been listening to us in our marital ways, and no shit, she was fucking like, oh, here's your ice bucket, and then just fucking took off, and I just was like my mouth just was like open, like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
She was legit listening to us.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Were you putting on a show or?
Oh, yeah, she would have heard me for sure.
Like, oh, fuck yeah.
I was just like,
Put it back in my ass, you fucking pussy.
beg me. But no, it was a wild night, man. Like, it was a fucking great view. Like, we could see a fucking a homeless village up on a hill.
Ooh, that's
fucking
always
crackheads rolling around everywhere. We were right in King George Square, and then fucking, bro, the biggest punch on. It was wild, like right outside of our hotel room. We were only on the 7th floor, so we had a perfect view of it. And this chick just got fucking stomped. I was like, well, I think it was a chick anyway. There's lots of dudes with long hair, but yeah, she got stomped by a chick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was it was pretty wild to see.
Well, I went to a rodeo.
Yeah, you said.
At Eden's Hill.
Yeehaw.
And
did you wear your Cobra?
Well, I didn't.
You missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, I would have fit right in for sure. Like, I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I sort of thought, well, okay, there's a rodeo. And as we were just driving in the general area, man, I just can't believe it. Like, everyone had a Cobras, Ringers Western, bloody cowboy boots.
Yeah.
It was that type of scene. Yeah, it was really fun, man. Like, it was kind of shit at the start. Like, everyone was kind of settled in and didn't really know where, like, couldn't get a seat. And, but eventually my kids kind of shuffled their way to the front. It was good. It was a pretty loose crowd.
Yeah.
I went into the smoking area after dark and there's like cunts like line dancing and fucking pushing each other and chicks fucking drinking cannies and just ditching them,
What time was that? Pretty early?
Like 7:30.
Yeah, see that's what blew me away. That punch on was pretty early too. Like we didn't even go out until
that's a pre-drink punch on.
Yeah, that was one of the fucking little Eshays ran away with a cart and you could hear him clinking like clink clink clink.
That's the thing with Eshays. There is no start time. They're always on.
They're just always on. Yeah. Fucking wow. Fucking.
And it's not like they go clubbing.
Nah, that's true.
They can't get in.
True that. Yeah. I mean, it didn't stop them. They would have only been like maybe 15, which made it grosser. It's
I just feel sorry for the girl.
Well, the two girls were just like, it was the best punch. Like the boys were just like squaring up, like, yeah, let's go. And the girls were just fucking throwing each other. It was like WWE. And one got thrown into a fucking, that perspex shit that they put on bus stops because they can't put glass up because people get thrown through them.
Like an ice skating, eh?
Yeah. So that's what it was like. It was like a full big boom. Like she got slammed up against that, dropped. But then, the scummy Eshay chick tried to steal her phone after she fucking stomped her in the face. And the security guards were there and they just were not very good at what they were supposed to be doing.
Oh, well, I'm glad that part of my life is over.
Oh, yeah, fucking
I don't need to...
But, it was one of those things where I probably could have been on like World Star. But I was just so in awe and I was fucking pretty tanked. So I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, Lou, we should film this. And she's like, yeah, we should. And then we both were like just watching. We didn't want to miss a minute of the action.
Like I was walking through the crowds and that and there's young lads sort of just, when you walk past in busy areas and someone gives you a shove.
Yeah.
And like I copped a couple of shoves and I'm thinking like, whatever, just shove me.
Yeah.
I ain't starting shit.
Yeah, fuck that.
I ain't no fucking hero.
Someone will lasso you.
Yeah. Or fucking
hit you with their fucking spurs.
Pistol whip me.
Yeah. Oh.
I had dead. No, but it was awesome, man. Kids they really enjoyed it. And
awesome.
They had junior bull riding. I tell you, these kids, like little 10-year-old kids, they're a different breed. That's a tough bunch.
Yeah, man.
So it was really cool.
Oh, that's good weekend, man. Yeah.
So anyways, we something popped up during the week, Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Good old
Jimmy.
Brought out, like someone shared, like a 1 or 2 minute video.
Yeah.
And it caused a bit of a stir up.
So it was a get back from the Muddy Boots podcast. So I personally don't listen to the Muddy Boots podcast. And they had like a bit of a spiel about Jim's guys, and I think Jim didn't appreciate it, so he had a bit of a get back, and that get back didn't land well either, I don't think.
Yeah, I actually have quite a bit to say.
Yep.
On just the 2-minute video that I heard.
Yeah.
Previous to this video coming out, I haven't felt any way about gyms or Jim himself or a franchise in any way. I mean, we've done an episode on franchises versus independents.
Yeah.
And I think there is, for new people getting into the industry, there is a lot of positives to each way that you can go.
Yeah.
And for existing people in the industry that already exist in whichever path they chose, there is also a lot of great positives and negative. I mean, there's negatives to every situation, but there's a lot of great positives to either way. And, I think with Jim's comments, I feel like I feel honestly like it was so counterproductive because I just feel like when you have the status of someone like that, you should just be doing like a no sell. Like, don't even acknowledge.
Yeah.
Don't even acknowledge the other guy because it's not going to help you out, and it hasn't helped him out in this situation.
No, I don't think so either. I think some of the comments that he made sort of took him from someone who was like an industry figure to looking down on the industry. I think it was really unfortunate. And anyone who's not a Jim's, he was kind of looking down on. He didn't mention any of the other franchises, but
see, that would have been a real. I
could only imagine if he did throw the other franchises in the same sentence.
That would have been really interesting, and that is a proper shot fired.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit too convenient and a little bit too easy for someone of his actual notoriety to be picking on the indies. And like I said, there is just a lot of things wrong. This isn't a Jim's diss track.
No, and all respect for Jim.
I actually respect Jim so much in the sense that Jim himself is what he's been able to do with that franchise is a huge part of Australian business history.
Yeah, huge.
And when you think about mowing a lawn in its most simplistic form, he has just made a mega fortune off it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and he's diversified. He's taken one brand and turned it into many. Like, there isn't anything that Jim doesn't have his finger in.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it's, if you know nothing about our industry, you sort of say like, oh, that's that thing that Jim does.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or if you think of like, if you cut yourself and you say, oh, I need to get a Band-Aid. Band-Aid is a brand.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
The actual product is not called a Band-Aid.
No, that's it.
So
I get it. Yeah, he's a very influential figure. I think like the fact that he's
not him himself. That's not what I'm really saying, but what he has built.
Yeah. Well, his face is on every fucking trailer, so his persona is out there. And I guess whenever someone calls Jim, I'm guessing they're thinking that they'll get Jim.
I mean, look, to be honest, I actually feel like the more that he gets on camera, the more damaging it actually is to the franchise.
I think so.
Not because he's a kook or because he doesn't know what he's doing or anything like that, but he's so far beyond pushing a mower.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't have done it since the fucking 90s.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be what he's actually trying to sell now.
No.
Like this dude is, whether it's him or whether it's people that he's hired, the whole marketing behind it is so impressive.
Yeah.
it's not about the mowing anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You said yesterday to me, it's the marketing.
yeah.
He's taken that to a whole new level, which, you know, no one else really has in Australia.
And see, this is why I have an issue with it, right? And we're probably going to go back and forth and, you know, unpacking stuff
Yeah.
and resetting the table, all this stuff. But I think my biggest issue with comments that he made was that a gym's operator is better than an independent.
Yeah.
And the reason why I disagree with it so heavily is the only thing that makes a gym's franchise better is that fucking huge marketing push behind it.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about budgets of thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah.
To generate, not only do you have that ongoing, but you have built a reputation up over since, I don't know how long Jim's been around for,
A
but
long time.
since the 80s
Yeah.
or something, maybe a little earlier.
I don't know. I have no idea.
And like I said, if you've got someone scrambling, they've got a rental inspection or something, and they don't know what to do, they need to get the lawn mowed, you know, something goes off in their head, I'll get gyms in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that is why Jim's Mowing is better.
The marketing.
The marketing and the business model behind it, it just doesn't have that much to do with the operator.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, like I listened to a little bit of a Jim's podcast this morning, and one of the guys on there had been in the game for 3 years, and he was came from a banking industry. Now, I'm guessing like you don't get many hands-on experiences in a fucking bank when, you know, unless it's a hobby, I guess, then, you know, it's one of those things to transition into a mowing job from a banking job. It's a big change. Like I met a Jim's guy at the dump, and he used to be a specialist wine importer, which was like, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And I was like, oh, how's everything going? He goes, I fucking hate it. It's my biggest regret ever. And I was like, oh, dude, just stick it out, man. You know, it's a great industry to be in. And it's just like, I fucking hate the ad. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, didn't you like check if you like to be outside before you fucking jumped in? And look, to be honest, I've never seen him again. I don't know if that's just, you know, something I've missed him every time I've gone to the dump, or, you know, he works a different suburb or something, but I've never seen that guy again. And I guess that's another thing with gyms. Like, it kind of sounds bad, but is it in Jim's best interest to have businesses fold?
I mean, look, nothing that I say on this podcast or anything that I think, you know, should be taken as gospel truth.
Yeah. Because
I don't know. Like I don't go and do my heavy research. I don't really look at the numbers, but I obviously have my opinions.
Yeah. Well, that's basically how we roll.
And the opinions, you know, they carry a certain amount of credibility.
Yeah.
But realistically, and I know what you're alluding to, if someone buys a franchise for X, let's say it's 30 grand, and the business starts running at a loss, and then the business is resold at X, which might be 10, back to the franchise, then obviously, yes, it's in Jim's best interest to reclaim those businesses. Yeah. Do I think that there's like an inside conspiracy for Jim to be setting up franchises to fail? No, I don't.
No, I don't think so either, because that would really taint the brand if people repeat, you know, word gets out and things like that.
Well, I mean, it's just a shitty you know, like it's.
I think stuff like that always comes out.
There's just easier ways to do business rather than preying on someone's downfall.
Yeah, because I know, like my father-in-law, he had a VIP franchise, you know, 25 years ago or something, and he got, you know, pittance for fucking selling it back to them. He did it for 12 months, and it just wasn't for him, and he sold it back, and he just did not. I think he lost like, you know, a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, the way I feel about franchise, I mean, look, if you take Fox Mowing, like Catch Pro does a ton of business with
Yeah.
Fox Mowing. We do some, not with gyms directly, but gyms, we have a lot of gyms franchises.
Yeah.
My best mate, Tyson, has built an amazing business from buying a franchise
Yep.
and then working his way up through that franchise, just simply building his own business, minding his own business.
Yeah.
And when other businesses around him fail, he snatches them up at a portion of the price.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's good. It's kind of good business.
Yeah, it's good business.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, I mean, it happens in everyday life.
It's fucking pocket change doing these days.
but yeah, certainly, like, if a gym's franchise fails, I don't really think Jim gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's extra money in his pocket.
I think he
gets
probably
to resell that. I mean, look,
they probably do have like programs in place to try and help people not fold their business. So I think like they'd take every step to try and help people through, you know, tough times and things like that. But at the end of the day, like it's no skin off their nose if they have to turn it over. There's some administration fees and then, you know, put it up for sale. And I'm sure that, you know, there's a lot of people out there looking for a new industry. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with the Jim's business model, Jim himself. I do have, you know, several. There are several points to what came out in that 2-minute clip that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
And number one, you know, this 90% of indies fail within their first 12 months.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that's a credible statistic, but I strongly believe that when a person decides to start up an independent mowing business, as opposed to starting up a gym's franchise, you know, whether they're getting this information from registered ABNs or whatever it is, I really feel like 50% of people that go down the independent track are just doing it part-time or just doing it in the meantime.
Yeah.
I think if you buy a gym's franchise, it's a calculated business decision.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
And there's a different, you're putting a completely different foot forward when you make that decision.
Well, like I had experience when I first started, like Tyson was selling EPMS franchises. So that was, I had to think about it and try and, you know, work out whether I wanted to fly the EPMS flag or if I wanted to be the bearded lawnsman. And that was a big decision. But behind that decision was also like, do I want to outlay this and start off on, you know, on a high and have a bit of work there, you know, rolling in and make a certain amount? Or do I want to take on the challenge to build up something myself and have it as my own, under my own brand? And like, it wasn't just a business decision, but it was, it had a lot to do with like that startup cost and things like that. So
yeah, I mean, look, for me,
there's always
myself,
a startup cost, but it's a pretty big cost.
Look, I just know myself when I hear about like golf days or, you know, things like that. Like I'm a sociable person, and I think all of those events and training and, you know, some of the mandatory, like none of it's mandatory, but there are probably some mandatory things that you have to meet. I just know for me, I'm just like I just want to look after myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear that uniform. I don't want to. Someone posted up. I saw some shit on an Equipment Defender post of mine.
Yeah.
And there's like fucking 10 rules that you have to abide by just on that left-hand side of your trailer.
Really?
Yeah, like Jim's face cannot be
okay. Yeah. Oh,
cannot be covered in any way, shape, or form. This the writing has to be this color, you know, and that's fine. It's good to have rules, but like I could just imagine me looking through one of these contracts and going like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah.
You know, like I'd be trying. I'm not one of those people who, you know, I can play by the rules, but
I'd request a bigger beard on Jim.
I mean, I've said for years that I'm unemployable anyway.
Yeah. I think now, like I didn't get it when I first started. And you used to say that, but now I think I fit that category. I don't think I could go back to working for someone else. And that, you know, yeah, except for my family, like I'm not really working for myself. I'm literally going to and from work and then fucking sort of just doing stuff for them on the weekend. So, but I do think that.
So first, can we?
Yeah,
this 90%.
I don't think it's true. Like,
so,
if you took LMCA, you don't see a fuckload of businesses fail. You see a few selling up, but that's not a fail. That's a fucking asset that you can sell and move on.
Well, that's a variable that is very true. So there are sometimes, because a business sells and a person is no longer in it anymore, that does not mean that business failed. So,
but if the ABN's cancelled, I'm guessing that's a strike against independence, because you don't see a lot of gyms. Well, I guess gyms would sell through a gym's sort of.
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't really
internally, right?
Them. Yeah. Like an internal place where, you know, the franchise.
I'll even just tell you a personal story. Like I can't remember what year it was. It might have been somewhere around 2010. I believe it was just before the twins were born, which is in 2012. So maybe it was 2011. You know, we had a personal situation. I think my old man's a real estate agent.
Yep.
And my business was really thriving. I took over Shorey's business in 2011 and, you know, basically walked into a situation where we would be turning over X, which was 3 times the amount that we were already turning over.
Yeah.
And look, I had a situation where my old man said, you know, the real estate game is not going so well at the moment. Can I do some work with you? And because I was a little bit older and I had my own workers, I said, sure, but instead of just jumping on with us, would you like to take your own run? And we actually kind of set him up.
Yeah, nice.
So he had an ABN that he would get paid with.
Mr. V's?
Well, it wasn't his own business, but you know what I mean? Like, and he did it for a year.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we just absorbed it all back and, you know, he went on and did his thing. And that's what I mean. In the independent scene, it is the Wild West.
It is, yeah.
And I don't think that you can really gauge, you know, the failure and success rate accurately with so many variables. Whereas,
how many businesses are out there running without ABNs working on a cash system?
Well, yeah, well, there you go. But with internally in the gym system, everything is recorded.
Yeah.
Everything is known. And I do believe that when people buy into a franchise, regardless gyms, whatever, it's a very calculated decision and there's a commitment there.
Yeah.
Whereas in the independent scene, you can get an ABN online.
Yeah.
You can use your tools from home. And when that situation is no longer working for you, let's say you finally find a job, you're just doing this in the meantime. There's just so many scenarios.
And you don't have to start off at like that level of like that standard. Like you don't have to have a fucking $10,000 trailer with a vehicle, a tow vehicle that sort of suits the gym's model and things like that. I have no idea about that, whether they say you have to have a specific type of vehicle to tow or something like that. But
I mean, generally, if you think about it, you don't see a lot of ordinary vehicles with gyms trailers on them.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think that I don't reckon they set a standard, but I believe it's more of a calculated decision for anyone that's going into it. Okay, I need a suitable vehicle. I think this is actually a commitment. They're going to pay. I mean, I don't know if it's 30 grand. I would assume it's got to be at least that.
Yeah. I hope none of the gyms guys get offended, because we're not dissing gyms at all.
I'm not even really dissing Jim necessarily.
Just the things that he said in that video really fucking got a lot of contractors talking. And then there was the follow up. I don't know what the name of the gentleman that fucking also put in his 2 cents in another video that popped up from that Moddy Boots podcast. They really got on the defensive. But yeah, some of the things like independence, the 90% fail rate and the no training. So I don't know how Jim can know that an independent doesn't get any training. Like me, I independently came to you before I started, and I got my own fucking training. Like I also called. You gave me Tyson's number to talk to him, and Jim's offering what 3 days on tools, 3 days in the workshop, or 2 days in the fucking behind the desk.
I think that really hurt them.
Yeah.
That was obviously one of the biggest points was, we are so much better because we give you 3 days horticultural training.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you learn in 3 days?
Yeah. I mean, I give my staff more than that.
Like, you can learn how to edge and hedge in 3 days.
Doesn't mean you're going to be good at it.
Well, that's true as well.
Like you can,
but
it doesn't.
If he didn't say the word horticulture, it wouldn't have stirred up such a hornet's nest as what it did, because that was just a dumbass comment.
Yeah.
To say that you've done 3 days horticultural training means fucking nothing in the horticultural world.
Yeah.
And it's just an ass backwards approach.
Yeah, maybe it was just what he said. It had nothing to do with actually what he thinks. Maybe just on the spot, like maybe he just spat it out.
I saw some comments
oopsies
from a Jim's contractor that I know and respect, saying, this is what Jim does, like he's been doing it for years. He stirs them up and he does this.
I saw that.
And look, I understand that any publicity can be considered good publicity, but I just don't believe it in this case.
No, because the other dude came out firing as well. So I think they really, because I listened to the Muddy Boots thing as well, and it was pretty like the dude got stuck into him, and it's specifically Jim's, and I think that was why they got their back up, because he didn't mention any other franchises or anything like that. It was specifically just Jim's, and he kind of gave it to him.
Yeah, but this 3 days training, I mean, look, I get it from a certain point. Yes, I assume when you first take over, someone shows you how to, correctly start your trimmers and
I think if he said we give you 3 days training in the field, then we also back it up with 24/7 support from your franchisor, and just kept on building on that 3 days instead of just be like 3 days and
we probably should also acknowledge it's 2-minute edited clip.
Exactly. Yeah.
So who knows?
It was just funny because it got fucking traction. Like if he was shit stirring, he hit the money.
But what good did it do?
Yeah.
You certainly haven't made any...
Well, pissed off the independents for some of the comments, because there are worse comments than that.
But I'm talking about in a business environment, has it made any independent say, you know what, maybe I fucked up in the independent scene, I'm set up to fail here. I'm going to go, now that I've heard this, I'm going to go and buy a Jim's franchise.
Yeah.
Has it done that?
No.
I don't think it's done that.
No, I don't think so either.
Has it made new people that are looking to set up a business, they don't know which path they're going to go in, has it made them truly say, you know what, after hearing that, I think Jim's is the way to go?
Well, realistically, he has put that light on the independent market. He's basically said if you go indie, 90% failure rate.
Yeah, he said that, but he also, I mean...
That's fucking huge, man. 90%. That means like...
Yeah, but he backed it up with this 3 days training. That's what makes you so much better.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's the... If we could ever say it, what makes a Jim's operator better is the marketing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's what makes it better.
Yep.
And I truly believe that.
Yeah.
What I'd love to know is if they are that good and you get your 3 days training and this new franchisee who's just paid his 30 or whatever it is that it costs, and and he can't fucking whippersnip for shit.
Yeah.
Do they fucking deny him that franchise?
Yeah, that's it.
Do they give him extra training? Like, or do they just say, hey, we've been paid and we did our best.
Off you go.
Fucking go out. These are the sort of dumbass comments that I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think he really, like it, as you said, it was a 2-minute edited clip, so there might be more behind it. I couldn't actually find the episode because I wanted to listen to it as a whole.
Well, I wanted to keep my comments my opinions. I wanted to keep them organic from that one clip, just because that's the relevant clip.
They edited it. That's how they wanted it to sound. They wanted it to sound like they were fucking saying, if you don't go with gyms, there's a fucking 90% chance that you're going to fail.
And there are things that I love, like there was a comment about following up with clientele.
Yep.
I think that is something that's really important.
Yeah, and they do have a lot of services that an independent might not have until they grow to a pretty substantial size. Like they have call centers and shit like that, and they have online booking forms, and it goes directly to the people in that area. And the lead services and shit like that.
Well, the lead services.
We had a little discussion. We weren't supposed to talk about it, but we fucking got 5 minutes to actually chat yesterday. So that was one of the things that came up was the lead services.
Yeah, and the lead services, like, there's a comment that came straight out of Jim's mouth.
Yeah.
They don't give leads to certain independents because their services are too poor. And I'd just love to know how on earth they monitor this.
Exactly, yeah.
How is this?
Is it a review-based thing? Like maybe you get an account through Jim's leads and...
Because here's the thing. If 90% of indies fail because they don't have their 3 days training, then who the fuck are you giving the leads to?
Yeah. And why would you put your name to someone who, has a fucking 90% failure rate?
And look, if I was Jim myself, I wouldn't be drawing any attention to this lead business. Now, I don't know if what I'm about to say is true in any way, shape, or form, but we talk about this marketing giant behind gyms.
Yep.
And, it obviously produces because they have so many leads that they have to then on-sell them to independents. But from a franchise perspective, you pay hundreds of dollars a month in franchise fees, which is allocated towards marketing, right?
Yep.
That's the whole thing. And there is an overflow of leads. So Jim is reselling them to the independent market.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you paying for?
Yeah, he's double dipping.
You're paying for some other business to then pay again.
Yeah.
And it just, I wouldn't have drawn any attention to that. I just think with the lead business, like if you're a franchise in that area and, there are leads being sold from your own franchise dollars, you should have the right to, obviously they would have the right to build their own business, take those leads, pay their own worker, right.
Do they get first dibs? I don't know how that works. Like if someone switches, I guess like...
From what I understand, it's, you buy a territory.
Yeah, because you can switch your leads off, can't you? If you've got enough work, you switch your leads off. If you're running short, then you switch them back on and they,
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, you could miss some big opportunities switching your leads off.
Yeah, but
then your franchise fees go to marketing and then some independent swoops in and gets a fucking $1,000 a week client off of your advertising.
Yeah.
It's a funny way to look at it. It's,
well,
because that was what surprised me. I did not think about that until you brought it up yesterday.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I think I just don't know whether it really did the Jim's franchise any justice at all. I'm sure there were Jim's contractors that looked at that and got, like a little bit of a pep up.
Yeah.
Like fuck yeah, we are the best.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like it's they should be proud.
And again, we're not taking anything away from Jim's guys. Like
Absolutely
the Jim's guys
not.
that work hard every day, doing fucking amazing things, building big businesses, and it's just this one fucking clip with some of the comments, and we're gonna get to the biggest one. And it's pretty crazy. But the fact that he said that independent work is not up to scratch and only select ones, I think that's a fib. I think basically if you're fucking signed up for Jim's leads, you're gonna get those leads in your area, unless you go on some fucking register, like a fucking sex offender register, a shit edger register.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, look, anytime I think of a Jim's business or a franchise, look, I just never think of a high-end particular client or a job.
No.
And I'm sure that they exist.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure that they do exist. But when I really think of the Jim's model, I'm thinking last minute overgrown jungles. Sure, you would have some people where it's convenient to just like, I'll just get a Jim's operator.
Yeah.
But I really don't think of that Jim's model as they have the best lawn on the street.
Yeah. Do you think with gyms, it's not really a niche? They don't really hit a niche.
No, they don't. Well,
they hit
but
like
if they do,
it's like a broad target. It's,
but
it's not like I guess like someone who'd been in the industry for 10 years has probably chopped and changed their business to be like because they can build their business to a certain point, vacuum the work they want, and then sell a split.
Which I think is
fantastic.
It's
fucking awesome. Like I think that's a great model.
It's a great way for any franchise.
It's great for Jim. It's a great motivator to build like a good business with solid customer base, because I'm sure Jim's not going to go through and be like,
anytime you can sell something internally, is fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm sure that they don't go. I'm sure that they probably forfeit. A little bit of the potential.
Yeah.
Like I know when I've sold runs before, you can put your own price on it. It's like, you can get what you want for it.
Yeah.
I think if you're selling it internally, there might be sort of like, well, for X amount of turnover, we give you this, or but I think that's fine because it's a quick sale.
Yeah. And it's a really good motivator. I think that would be, if I was in especially at gyms, I think that's what I'd be aiming for, is to build big enough to be able to sell those splits as like a cash injector.
Yeah.
And, I think there's people out there that's their whole model. They build and then they split and build and split.
That's what I'd be doing.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I did it independently for a little while.
Yeah. See, the way
I've
I've structured a totally different way. I wouldn't be able to really do that.
Well, it happened organically for me. Like I tried to minimize, and I just, kept getting work, and, you'd see other contractors and you're like, all right, you want to take these 15 or 20 jobs. I also built my business the same way by buying, smaller runs that appealed to me. So, it's not, I don't know whether it's as prominent as what it used to be 15 years ago.
Yeah.
There used to be formulas.
Yeah. And
the formulas don't seem quite right these days. There's always a risk.
Oh, big time.
And we've spoken about the risk.
The first fucking business I bought was a fucking flop. That was on me though. I went out.
You have to do your due diligence.
It was fucked. I was just naive, and obviously that's one thing that you don't have to worry about with a franchise. So, and that was me, my naivety. I didn't have me 3 days training, so I fucked that. I cooked it big time.
You were set up to fail,
but I did it in a calculated way. It was $1,200, and I made my money back, but only just before I flicked all those customers.
Yeah.
So,
so what was the last talking point that you?
I don't want to bring it up. It's fucking terrible. And Jim shouldn't have said it. It upset me. He said basically about independence. Most have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's a very, very unfortunate comment because we all personally know ex-greenkeepers, ex-fucking, horticulture. Like we know people, landscapers and shit that do have their toe in each industry. It was a very, very fucking shit comment, especially because a lot of the people that gyms attract is from different industries. And 3 days training does not make you an expert in anything.
And there's also the physical running of the business side. Like I know someone like my dad, for example, who spent 25 years prior to starting mowing, did everything correctly to run a business.
Yeah.
He has all the ingredients to run a successful business.
Yeah.
But, when he was in his late 40s or whatever fucking age he was, physically getting into it in the midst of a drought as well back then in 03 or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like I'm not calling our first business a failure necessarily, but you know what I mean? Like it's just, there are so many, look, I can admit that if you are a brand new business and you walk into a franchise, I do believe you have an excellent chance of succeeding.
Yes.
But I mean, what is success? Is it, if you don't fail within your first 12 months, is that a fucking success? What happens if you fold 18 months after that?
Yeah.
That's what I mean about the whole point of being better. It is just ass backwards and not productive for the industry as a whole.
No, I think, look, I got into this business to make it what I wanted it. I didn't have to structure it around someone else's idea of what a successful business was. So that was a huge, huge bonus to being independent. What was that?
It was a fly.
You just sucked off a fly. Oh, Ben. Are you okay?
I think I'm gonna vomit.
Are you really?
I just had a fly in my mouth.
Oh my God.
And I sampled it and everything. Oh man, when did it even crawl in here, bro?
Fucking hell, I don't know. Is there any more?
There's more, but it's like making me not want to drink it now.
Oh no, I mean, was there more flies?
No, man, I've actually proper massacred that one.
Oh, did you chew it?
No, I didn't chew it.
Oh, okay. Your mustache didn't fucking filter him out. It's not doing its job.
Oh boy.
Oh, back to fucking
So you can tell it's summer. I've just drank me first fly.
Very good. So look, we're claiming that most independents have, and that word most, it's very unfortunate. There is a fuckload of independents that have a lot of knowledge about this industry. Like, there were lawn mowing contractors before there was Jim's contractors. Like, Jim's is not like where it all started. He did a very good job at marketing his businesses out and has grown the biggest franchise in Australia, and not taking any of that away from him. But just to say, like, his contractors after a week's fucking training is just...
I think just where
saying that they're the fucking pinnacle of the industry, and like, you know,
I think
it's
just
it's hard to take. It's hard to take.
I think just where I'm at. Look, it's not hard for me to take. I certainly, as an independent, and you know, people probably look at me and go, "You ain't no independent anymore," because it's true. I don't have a business, but I really am there for the independents. But I honestly think, you know, for anyone who knows anything about business, Jim himself, Jim Penman, is seriously like, his business is just, it's not lawn mowing.
Yeah.
His business is generating work for and selling franchises. That's how he makes his money. He doesn't make his money from, you know, starting a business from scratch or doing anything like that. He's so far removed from that part of the industry.
He's a marketing king.
He is a marketing king.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I think we should be recognizing him as that.
Yeah.
Now,
that's where he should do his videos on his marketing and actually give back to the industry that's given so much to him. And teach people how to fucking market their business, whether they're independent or franchise.
Well, if you can find out how to make money off it. Like I don't see, you know, I remember when I first started Catch Pro, you know, people were like, oh, you know, this is so innovative and, you know, it's great that you're doing this. And I always said in the beginning, I'm not really doing it for the money.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I really enjoy it. It's making my own work more fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm helping people, but, you know, and I don't know when it changed for me.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it's like, I'm only doing this for the money now.
Yeah.
You know, and I make no bones about it. Like if I'm going to build a Catch Pro or if I'm going to market something, I'm doing it for the money.
Yeah. Look, I can 100% say that none of my social media is targeted towards making money from my mowing business. It's basically come down to selling myself as a product, I guess. Realistically, like maybe like even my Instagram now goes onto my personal Facebook feed. And I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And, you know, I get more engagement on that than I do on any other platform. I think most of my peers are on my personal Facebook anyway.
That would be why. It's because people who choose to be your friend on that platform are ready to engage.
Exactly, yeah. So
it's kind of similar to...
Like I'm not selling me doing the WAP to a fucking village. Like that ain't gonna fucking fly. They don't want to see me fucking crawling through the mud in a fucking G-banger. But I'll do that for my friends and family.
Anyway, look, it'd be great to know, you know, how other people are feeling when you read some threads. You know, there's obviously some controversy. Actually, while we're here, did we want to take a minute to maybe
have a squeeze? I know one of them was suck me dick. That was pretty funny
because I don't think all of the I don't think all of the comments would really be fair. And,
no,
and I don't like. We've tried to be fair in this situation.
Yeah,
I think stating the issues that we had with what was said and why we feel like it's either bad for the industry or just bad straight up for the Jim's franchise.
To be honest, I think Jim should have just fucking laughed. I think it would have done so much more for them if they just laughed it off and said, "Do you want to fucking check our books out, mate, and see how unsuccessful you think we really are?" Like. I get the Muddy Boots guy was saying like, you know, there's other fucking avenues out there. Jim's isn't the all, but like realistically, like you said, like Jim's isn't worried about that. He shouldn't be worried about that shit. He should be staying in his own lane. Like he's got this fantastic thing, and nobody ever questioned what Jim was all about until Jim started bagging out the rest of the market. Like. But it's pretty funny that he didn't actually say anything about Fox or fucking VIP or Graham's and all the other franchises out there. That would have been so funny. That would have been way more controversial.
Well, I think it's.
We fucking do it, Jim. I dare you.
I think it's a smart move that he didn't.
But there's more independence than fucking franchises, so he's targeted a bigger market share. That's for sure.
So he won't. Look, I'm just going to read a few comments from the thread. I'm not going to name any names just because this is not supposed to be an interactive.
Yeah.
Like we haven't sort of got permission.
Yeah.
I mean, it's public.
But
I could.
Oh, it's in a private group.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. So we have a comment here. I think he may be stretching some truth there. Fair enough. Just trying to suss out some replies. Nothing new at all. 90%. National average is 20% for all businesses. Can't believe it's that true. And then we have Jim's just a sexist old fuck stuck in his ways. I don't know.
How is he sexist?
I'm not sure.
Well, maybe I'll have to have a dig. Maybe he's done something he shouldn't have done.
I'm not sure, but I mean...
Oh, Jim.
I mean... I'm not going to go on a tangent at how I feel about any of that talk because it's... Yeah, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
What a load of crap. I'd love to see the turnover in franchises. I'll leave that one there because...
That's actually a good point.
But it's not... This isn't about turnover.
No.
What is success?
Oh, no. Does he mean turnover like how many franchises fail?
Oh,
or does he mean turnover dollar-wise?
Nah, you probably got me, eh?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, you got me. He's talking about franchise turnover.
Yeah, okay.
So my bad.
Because gyms definitely would attract a different type. Like, I think if you're starting off an independent business, you already have a draw to the industry. I think gyms is so well marketed. They say you can make a fucking bunch of cash straight off the bat. I think it targets people from other industries that probably have nothing to do with outdoors. They've never spent a summer outside. They're not from a laboring background. They may have been in an office and things like that. And look, I came from like a semi-office, semi-laboring sort of place. And through you, like I did a little bit of work with you doing like, I think it was like a turfing job or something. And I really enjoyed it. I liked being outside and I felt fresher being in the outdoors. So I had a little tickle of the industry. And that's what drew me in. But with Jim's guys, a lot of it would be the marketing.
It's all, yeah. Look,
so,
like I said, I don't disagree with everything that he said. Like, if I just even look at my own story, I got fucking booted out from school.
Yeah.
My dad took a redundancy and he formed a business with me and another high school dropout.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah.
However, and if you looked at us in our first week of work, it was a laughing stock.
Yeah.
You know, my dad, he was the whippersnipper man. And, you know, you're talking about on a residential lawn, like going through like 3 meters of cord. You know, you've got me and Kyle back in the day, no T-shirts on.
Yep.
Probably not in work boots, you know, maybe volleys or something. You know, running with the mowers, you know, just doing all sorts of crazy shit that he is correct. You're not seeing that in a franchise situation.
100%.
But what we have to understand is that even though, you know, my dad, because people have a certain perception of me, right?
Yeah.
My dad is nothing like me.
No.
He is a goody two shoes.
Yeah.
He is a good man. He is very giving and non-judgmental and does everything the right way. Like when I'm 37 years old, right? And maybe something will happen like I think one of my ANZ bank letters went to my old address, which is my parents' house.
Yeah.
My dad, like this letter meant nothing. He just couldn't believe that I hadn't changed my address. You know what I mean? And he'd call me like every day.
Are you coming?
Hey Ben, have you called ANZ yet? Hey Ben, like why haven't you actually called ANZ yet?
Yeah.
You know, like he's just not like me.
No.
But what we have to understand is that when independents go into this field, they're not all looking for a great big reputable business.
Yeah.
Some people are just doing it to get enough money to go to the pub.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And it doesn't require any training.
Yeah.
And you can call yourself, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think in saying all of that, it's just, you're not comparing apples with apples.
Yeah.
You know?
Like as a whole industry, yeah. I do get it. But I think, you know, you hear about the seasonal cowboys and stuff too, and like some of those would have ABNs, and it's like, do they get counted as, you know, if you work fucking half of the week during summer and then you don't work at all in winter, like there's so many different types of businesses out there. But yeah,
we have a comment here saying, "What a fucking ignorant statement," and I think that sums it up pretty good. It is an ignorant statement.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a cockswing.
yeah, big time. Well, look at some of the characters that
Look, if I was Jim, because I'm assuming he's got a fair bit of money.
yeah.
And we really shouldn't measure people by how rich they are, but you end up with a certain amount of swagger, right?
Yeah, fucking oath.
And so, you know, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, he just hasn't thought 100%,
Yeah.
you know, but
I think that you know, the Muddy Boots podcast really took him by surprise, because like you don't get much negative feedback about gyms unless it's like internal. Because I've had conversations with a lot of gyms guys, and there's a few out there that are not happy.
look,
I'd never name names. I'd never fucking even say what they're not happy about. Eventually, like, you know, you see people
I don't mind
having,
saying, so look, I'm certainly not going to mention any names. The only time I've ever heard of or been told personally about any sort of disgruntled gyms member, it's only ever political.
yeah.
It's never got to do with everyday running of
No,
the
I don't
business
know. That's
or-
exactly right.
It's
It's all
always
political.
sort of something, and I think sometimes too, it's personality clashes.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, I'm going to say people like me, who maybe go down that road and like they're just not the type of people that can be policed.
Yes.
You know, like,
like to live dangerously.
no, not really like that, but I can just imagine, you know, like it's no different to, me and Russ, we were doing some footage with, I think it was Ferris, Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to wear gloves on a stand on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking serious? And the dude's like, yeah, well, we can't use any of this footage unless you put gloves on. And I was like, man, just take your fucking mower and just, you know, like,
Yeah.
and I think the only time I've, you know, ever really heard, you know, anything negative about gyms is just personality clashes with things like that. I don't think it's ever, I don't think there's ever a ton of merit behind it.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like, oh, they fucking treated me badly and they set me up to fail.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
So we have a comment here. Lol, 3 days of horticulture training. I must have wasted 3 years at TAFE. So perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, of like indies that, and I'm sure that there's like, man, there's probably 50% of gyms contractors that do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm not going to lie, I'm not a book guy. Like I didn't learn shit. The only fucking videos we had on YouTube when I started was like Keith Kalfas. And like he's got nothing to do with our industry. But like I don't learn really well by reading and writing and shit like that. I have to physically do it. Like I can watch all the fucking videos in the world, and yes, that gives me an idea of what I'm doing, but until I'm actually physically doing it, that's when my brain is like, oh, hey, that's how you do it. Keep doing it that way.
Yeah, for me, I just don't excel in anything unless I'm physically interested in it.
Yeah.
So, like I just remember when, you know, I started surfing, for example.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it for shit.
I was fucked.
I couldn't do it for shit, and I just watch so much surfing films.
Yeah.
And then you sort of, you know, and so like the comment about like, oh, you watch some YouTube videos, rah, rah, rah. those YouTube videos are fucking helpful as fuck.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You know, like
they give you a good idea of what you will expect to encounter. And like, you know,
just
obviously
different styles.
Tips and styles and shit like that. But yeah, I don't think you can.
And what's more impressive
do something.
What's more impressive about it as well is, I think if you're learning from YouTube, that person has made that conscious effort to, in their own time, get better at something. Yeah. And that is way different to when you're told, hey, meet me here. We've got to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think Jim's has a YouTube channel with like how-to videos and stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what.
That would kind of take away from his fucking...
We've seen some of their fucking internal... Remember the zero tone one?
Oh, yeah.
About mowing around a tree?
You see fucking Jim doing a straight edge? Fuck.
See, that's the thing about Jim too. Like, he shouldn't be the face of that part of it. Yeah. There is no reason for us to see Jim mowing the lawn ever again.
Yeah. Jim... Because he was quite similar. Straight edge with his fucking... with his bipper dipper, with
nothing
gloves on, and nothing looked natural.
Nothing looked natural.
Hadn't cut an edge in fucking 30 years.
Yeah, like nothing.
Like I think there would be. I think the torch may have to go to someone who, like, for just for the face. I think Jim's fucking behind the scenes.
And you know what?
Thing. Like,
the reason why Catch Pro gets over the way that we do is probably because I'm
relatable.
Still doing those things. Like, I've had someone say to me, like, you know, oh, I know that you don't run your business anymore. You know, is the information that you're giving me correct? And, you know, like, that is true. I'm not in the field anymore. I don't use a Catch Pro 10 times a day like I used to.
Yeah.
But, like... I still mow my own lawn like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And I still, you know, do favors for people where I'm on stand-ons all the time. I think
you're connected to the industry a lot better than, say, Jim. Like,
but I don't
when
think
someone sees a video
but
like
I don't think he
yours-
has to be.
No,
is
and
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
think he has to be either. And I think when someone sees a video like yours, they're like, oh, yeah, look at this fucking tan dude. He knows how to roll with his machines, snippers, all that sort of shit. Like, people know that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
now, I admit I've lost a step for sure. Like, could I go to Scrub Road and whip a snip? What does it take? I mean, it used to take 2 hours.
It's like 2 hours, yeah.
Could I go and do that? And you know, no, I don't think I actually just
like
don't think I could.
in my peak. See, even I've lost a little bit because of how my business has transitioned, and like I used to be able to. I could do Scrub Road. I could do 2 man's work by myself.
That's right.
I could if someone pulled out on me, I could fucking do it. I couldn't do it long term, but I could hold it for 2 days and I could fucking do 2 people. And it's a legit 2 people, like hedging. So I'd snip, hedge and mow, and it's fucking 6 acres of, you know, streets. And it's a fair amount.
I totally agree.
Like, you know what it's like there. So like, yeah, but now I'd need a fucking ice bath and a fucking truckload of Voltaren to get over those days.
Yeah, I mean, for me...
I got out of bed and took 2 Voltaren straight away.
Yeah, for me, it's all about the drive and the passion.
Yeah.
And would I have the drive and the passion to do that?
Yeah.
No.
I still... Like, I would definitely attempt it. And but I think I'd find myself cutting a few corners.
I just know I'd be like, man, I don't have to fucking do this.
Yeah, see, I do. I got to pay bills via mowing that place. So
yeah, I don't think I could personally make money off mowing anymore.
I still,
I could step into your role and make money.
Yeah,
where you're just running guys.
Yeah,
for sure. But if Ben Van der Giesen had to start a solo business again and provide for my family, you could actually say, like, there's a good chance you're going to fail and not be able to pay everything.
Yeah.
I just don't know that.
Well, it depends. You got a lot of knowledge behind it, so. But I
just physically, I don't think I can do it.
I can still rock and roll. Yesterday,
Mate, I don't think I could lift. I don't think I could ever hoist those grass bags over the top of that trailer.
No, see, I've eliminated all that sort of shit. Like we have like the trailer now. We load everything in the back, and it's only very low.
Yeah,
and it's a 2-man crew. Like I'm adamant. Like stop trying to be fucking hero and lift a grass bag by yourself, because I need you to last. I need you to have legs in this industry.
Yeah, yeah. Like I just all of those things that I used to do.
Yeah.
It made even walking.
Yeah. But my ass muscles hurt today. Like I did 20,000 steps yesterday.
Push mowing my place.
Yeah.
Is like like Vicky said, like, you're never going to do that again, are you? Because I just couldn't fucking move afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Leroy and I knocked out 15 cubes of mulch by 11:30 yesterday.
I still did 5 cube in like, I did 5 cube of mulch here in just under 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, because I was having a look at a thread during the week and people were saying a cube an hour.
Yeah.
And I know when Benny Bobcat was alive,
yeah,
if you said a cube an hour to Shorey,
he'd laugh at
you. You're in trouble.
Yeah, well, like fucking yesterday, we punched it.
I had great access.
Yeah. Well, we had all right. So we did the frontage at Scrub Road. We did 15 cubes in there, and it's not great access all the way around, but
behind the hedge and shit.
Yeah, that's a cunt. It's fucked.
It's like dangerous in there too with all the bees and shit.
Nah, bro, we fucking cleaned all that out. Okay. It's always trimmed.
I just used to love sending Rusty down there, and he'd be like with the wasps.
Bro, there's no palms behind there. Everything's clean.
The fucking huntsman's, man.
Oh, get fucked. Yeah, that's probably why I'm so adamant. Like I have to get that shit done, because yeah, fuck that.
Just quickly, we've got a comment. He is nothing but a salesman. And that's what I reckon.
Yeah. But he's good at what he does. Like it fucking shows.
Yeah. There are sort of people saying, like, in our territory, we don't see fuck all of them, rah, rah, rah. That I don't think should be a gauge.
No.
On an overall opinion.
The thing is, if there's not a lot of call for gyms, they're not going to start popping like franchises in half. Like if their suburb is quite quiet, where there's one gyms guy, or girl.
Oh God!
But like,
you sexist ass!
I'm such a piece of shit. No, but if there's not enough leads, like why would they split a territory? Like just keep it that one person, and if there's extra leads.
This is a great comment. This is where I lose respect for him. He's not wrong. But he isn't comparing apples to apples. I mean, we could have just done like a 60-second episode.
Yeah.
Just fucking put a bow on it then and there.
I wouldn't be able to tell you that I think my weight, when I started my little journey, I think it was like 155 or something. It's either 150 or 155. I fucking lost like either 15 or 20 kilos.
Well done.
It's like a whole kid.
That is a kid.
That's like a fucking rusty shit.
With a face on it, eh?
Giggly eyes.
So the gyms guy who works where I live, don't think he's changed or sharpened his blades in 12 months.
How do you know? He's
saying when he's finished at a client's place, it's a complete mess. I know of a contractor who was mowing next door to Jim's, and he went and did the lawn again after Jim left because it was such a disgrace. So I think
that might be that might be that Jim's guy's customer base. That's what they want, a slash and dash.
Well, I do believe that if someone went and mowed it afterwards, probably not.
Yeah,
okay. But what I'm saying is it's an example of bullshit.
Yeah.
It goes to show any one gym's contractor is not better than any one independent.
Yeah.
We're all in the same industry.
There's bad apples in every basket.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with all of this race bullshit.
Yeah.
With oh, Indians don't pay fuck all, or, you know, black people do more crime. There's pieces of shit in every place that we live in. Every city you go, every school, you know, like people, you know, we're looking at schools at the moment. Obviously, your girls just started high school, and people are like, oh, don't send them to that school because kids at that school smoke or kids at that school drink. Bro, it fucking happens everywhere.
Man, there's some fucked up shit happen, and it's happening. Like, I know I'm going to sound like an old cunt here, but like back in my days, the shit that happens in grade 7, like we used to make that happen in fucking grade 9 and shit like that, like 10, 11, 12, fucking all the it's like everything is come down the run. Like now the shit that we used to do in the higher grades, they're doing straight off the fucking bat. Like some of the stories that are coming out of the high schools.
Well, it's hard to say because I know we're completely switching gears and I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But are you talking about sexual content or just
fucking everything, man?
Because this is wild, right? To all our listeners.
Like fucking dealing drugs and just in grade 7, like it's pretty fucking.
Well, now we have to understand that grade 7 is high school. Mm-hmm. So regardless of the age, you're in the environment.
Yeah.
I know, you know, when I look back, I was like, you know, I went to high school in year 8.
Yeah.
And like we were doing some wild shit.
Yeah.
Like getting drunk.
Yeah. So
getting drunk before school.
Yeah. Before school. Oh, actually.
You know, just doing.
I wasn't in grade 8, but yeah, I've drunk.
You know,
drunk at school.
but I look, me personally, I never did drugs.
Yeah.
Sure, there was people who smoked weed in year 8, for sure. But it just wasn't, you know. And then some of the things that you say, like, didn't you say there was 2 girls tribbing?
Yeah, there were 2 girls.
I'd love to know if our listeners know what a trib is.
Google tribbing,
because Vicky had no idea what tribbing was until I told her. But what I want to know is, how do they know what tribbing is?
Yeah.
How do they know?
It's social media, man. It's fucked. It's like, and expectations.
There's no tribbing on my social media.
But back in our day, remember how we used to get our porn? We used to go to the fucking the man with the big box, and we used to buy fucking 4-hour terrible quality shit for like $10 a pop. Now, if you have a phone, like if you have a fucking iPad, anything, all you fucking do is Google free porn. If you're paying for it, you're an idiot. So like you just type in free porn and away you fucking go. And when you look at like porn, that's not what really happens in real life, but that's how it's like. Yeah, speaking to the younger guys that I've have working for me, like shit is headed that way. Like all the stuff that we used to be like, holy fuck. It's just, you know, eating ass is not a fucking.
Whatever happened to just going into like a really nicely made bed and, you know,
what happened?
Putting on some Boys to Men.
Now it's all,
and then just getting on the chew.
Yeah. Now it's all fucking, you know, stepmother fucking stuck in dryer, fucking all this wacky shit.
It's, with like the brother and sister. Hey, I'll tell mom.
Yeah, well, it's like what the fuck? And it's seriously like you open up the first page, it's like whoa, yeah, it's wild, man. I think it's crazy.
So what was the point of? The point of my thing is yes, BJ, you're correct. There's bad apples in every bunch.
Yeah,
doesn't matter, you know. But you look at it in politics, you look at it in religion, you look at it in race. It's really no different to any industry.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a shame. We got a comment here. Picked up a few ex-gyms jobs last week. The more triggered everyone gets and posts about why he says and does, the more publicly the gym's brand gets. He does it on purpose, and once again, everyone falls for it. This was pretty much the comment I was alluding to before, and I understand it. And yes, it's gotten a lot of traction. It's lots of people, but I just don't understand how any publicity is good publicity in this case. I really feel
It's a bit of a funny spin on it. I think like it doesn't
I don't understand what's the
like
spin.
if I mean like normally like posts like that would have like a positive background, but that really was a negative post. And it was targeted at independents. And he's like, even if you're like, you know, and we're doing the same thing to Jim. It's like, oh, I've got the utmost respect for independents, but 90% of them fail and fucking most have no idea what they're doing. It's like, that's not a fucking compliment sandwich. That was just shit on like a compliment at the bottom.
But can I just say, it's a little, this scenario, just the way that I feel about it is a little bit, you know, when Skag was an upcoming brand?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, fuck yeah, I got my Skag. And then it was like, hey, why should I get a Skag? You know, because they're the fucking best, or, you know, rah, rah. And, you know, it got to a point where that stuff was actually being counterproductive.
Yeah.
Because it creates haters who just, for whatever reason, they're not into it.
Yeah.
And then it starts creating like, you know, it doesn't matter what credibility that machine had, because it was a Skag. People didn't like it. And I sort of feel like this is similar in the sense that Jim's sole job now is to just sell franchises.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you're converting any indies in this case. Whereas before you had a case.
But see, I don't think he's trying to convert indies. Like, he has basically tainted the independent. Anyone who listens to that and who was like on the fence is probably like, oh, really? 90% of independents fail? They have no idea what they're doing? Like, that's
what I mean.
That's what he's done. He's marketed gyms to, like, he's done a great job for Jim. Like, he wasn't specifically, he wasn't talking, that clip, he's not talking to independents. He's talking to people who are on the fence about becoming either a franchise or an independent. Well, look, and that's marketing to the max. Like, he's hit it on the...
So in that case, I can understand how it would work for him.
But one thing that I've always been taught is, especially being like a brand, you know, being a face of a brand and things like that, is you do not talk shit about other brands to prop your brand up, because it looks fucking pathetic. And that's always been my advice to anyone, because I get people reach out and be like, hey, I want to become like a brand ambassador for blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, well, just don't talk shit about anyone else, because it'll come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, look, a big part of me wants to not abide by that rule.
Yeah.
You know, like, there are a lot of times where I've wanted to, and I'm not going to use any proper examples, but there has been times where I've wanted to have a product in my hand and just belt the fuck out of a different product with it.
Yeah.
And really have that approach. But, you know, I just think as a person, number one, it's not worth the drama.
No.
And, you know, I truly believe it's just not the correct way to do business.
No. Like same with me, man.
You focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And you obviously got to keep tabs on what's happening.
Yeah. But
it's a no sell. Don't acknowledge it. It's, you know what? We're the best. We don't have to say anything else.
That's like me, man. I've got so much locked up in my vault of stories about fucking, you know, some other brands that I just would never tell anyone else. It's shit that I just do not repeat, because number one, like, I'm a brand ambassador, so again, it looks bad if I'm talking shit about other brands. But number two, like, that's fucking like really fucked for future opportunities for the events and things like that. If I'm starting to fuck over brands by letting out like different things, you know, it's not as big of an industry as people think. Everyone talks, like, everyone's connected through dealerships and different things. Like, and that's why, like, I kind of lock everything up. And when people tell me stuff and they say, don't repeat it, it stays with me. Obviously, I tell my wife because I got to tell someone. But yeah, it just doesn't go any further than that. I just think that it's not the right thing to do. I think, business is hard enough as it is without someone letting out all the fucking secrets. And I'm
and
sure
also what's tough about it too is a lot of the people that represent the businesses or brands. I know this isn't supposed to be about brands, but a lot of the people they're not the head of the snake.
No.
Like there's no reason to attack that like they're just working there.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know. I think it's good to just try and do business the right way.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to crunch, like if you were an independent and you were going after a really great client,
Yeah.
and the client said to you, "Well, I have a gyms guy coming in, and they've given me a really good quote, and is there anything you can say to separate yourself from what they've said, or is there anything that is there reasons why you're better?" Then I think it's perfectly good if you believe it and it's the truth to just go on and be like,
Yeah.
well, we've been in the industry for 10 years and we have similar clients and,
Yeah.
But to maybe say like, well, this person doesn't like change their blades often, so they're probably going to leave grass everywhere.
Yeah.
We've seen other jobs that they do and there's like weeds everywhere. Rah, rah. I personally just don't think it helps that much. Unless you're like 100% on the button.
Yeah. Take it all in though. When someone's talking shit about someone, just vacuum it all up and do things different.
Yeah, I think for today's episode, I don't really think today's episode's helping anyone in the industry.
No, not at all.
It's just a generalized conversation of something that went down that I had a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
But I have so much respect for Jim and what he has truly built in our industry.
Yeah.
I think it's a great piece of Australian history as well of how someone
huge.
I remember when I was a kid, I watched like a 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
And I've always remembered it.
It's gone international. Like Jim's is in New Zealand now as well. So it's like an international company now, which is...
Oh, well, that's a cop-out, but yeah.
Yeah.
New Zealand. The Catch Pro is fucking international.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's all in the marketing.
It's not that much of an achievement. I'm not trying to denote New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's obviously a separate country.
Are you just basically saying that we're attached to the hip anyway?
Well, I mean, yeah, like it's, look, I think if he was in America, or if he was somewhere in Europe or somewhere in Asia, it would feel like a much bigger achievement.
Well, that's like, so maybe take Corey, for instance, with Perfect Cut. Like I would never expect to hear him say, independents don't know what they're doing. Not to say that he hasn't. Like maybe he did fucking come out and say independents are fucked, but now he's marketed his whole business like towards everyone in the industry. So
from what I understand, I don't think franchises are very prominent over there.
No, well, I don't.
I'm sure they have them.
I think when you're talking about franchise, I think because everything's so like spread out, I think there would be franchises all over the place.
Well, I just think Americans as a whole, I think they prefer to have something that's their own.
Like a company. Like, well, I guess Perfect Cut wasn't a franchise. It's not
a franchise. No, it's a company. But that's what I mean. Like they'll have a husband and wife team, and they'll say, "I'm the director."
Well, that's like having,
and it's like, what is it that you're fucking directing yourself?
That's like having like green options or someone go to villages or do village videos and target them saying, "Oh, your independents are shit."
Yeah, look, I'm sure Corey is one of the top 20 companies in America, which is a huge achievement.
Yeah.
That really is a massive achievement in their market. And I'm sure he does look down on the solos and the 3 or 4 man crews. I'm sure he probably does. And I'm just making an assumption. He,
Ask him next time you talk to him.
well, I mean, I really don't give a fuck. Like he,
well, I do now.
but it's the same thing to him. He's not. Look, he has great business advice for lawn mowing contractors, but it's not his business anymore.
Yeah,
it's he doesn't have anything to do with the day-to-day running of Perfacut.
Yeah,
he is now. If he was talking about let's take Ballard products into consideration. When I first signed with Corey, it was him and Lindsay, and he had a media person that would shoot their footage. And now they have 8 workers in the factory.
Yeah.
So, like he is taking another whole new approach and building, what can be, used as an example.
Yeah.
Hey, look at what I've done here. I took a market that is completely dominated by dealers.
Yeah.
And I've taken it online and we're crushing everyone. And started a whole new thing. I think that would be much more of the story that you would go with. So
do you reckon Jim would come on? I mean, he's been on the other 2, so
I'd love to have Jim on. I would only do it in person.
Yeah, me too.
And
but I'd love to see the real Jim. Like maybe we got a bit of it there, but like, I'd love to have a proper chat with him because like he is like a marketing genius. So it'd be interesting to have a proper conversation and ask questions that,
I mean, I've tried to have Catch Pro conversations
with Jim specifically.
Yeah. And it's never really gotten anywhere. So it'd be a crappy way for us to get his attention.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
All I'm saying is, Jim, you hurt my feelings.
I'm not hard to find.
Yeah.
No, see, my feelings aren't hurt. I just.
Look, just the comment that most of us don't know what we're doing was a bit of a low blow.
Oh, look, I acknowledge the comment. Am I hurt by it? I'm not hurt by it.
Yeah. Well, you're not a fucking independent contractor anymore.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, we've had enough, everybody. So, give us some feedback though, because we haven't been too political lately.
No. No one's called us fucking pieces of shit or anything, so.
No, I haven't been abused in a while.
Yeah. Maybe this will change it.
So, anyways, give us your feedback.
Yeah, check out Bad Workwear, Mower merch, all our sponsors, Skag, fucking, yeah.
And the lawn shed.
And the lawn shed.
Because you know what? The industry needs chemicals right now.
Fuck yeah, it does. I actually spoke to a bloke down my way and he's like, yeah, I'm going to fucking go and hit up the lawn shed. I'm like, you do that.
You do that, homie.
You do that.
All right, until next time, man. Catch Pro. He's at TBL and we're out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.